slightly dangerous. Now that I've got you up and mounted, it's not. Gonna wait for some folks to trickle in, if at all. It's been a while since I've been live. First live in a long time. It's not consistent and it's impromptu. Got a couple people trickling in. How's it going? Feel free to say hello in the comments. Trying to answer some spring fishing questions. Would love to know if you're here. Maybe hit the like or comment down below. Answering some spring fishing questions today. And just generally kind of talking about Colorado at the moment. So on our way right now to go fish. We're gonna try some walleye fishing. I got a few spots I'm thinking about. I haven't really decided yet. I'm just kind of right now driving and talking, and I guess I'll just decide later where we're going. So check the chat here. No, I never go live, and I'm live. How's it going? Kind of thing that stinks is I can't see, like, I don't know why all the chat messages just like disappear after some time, but whatever, I'll figure it out. Right on. Glad it's going. That's what I usually say too. It's going, life's happening, and now that I got a 1-year-old, life is really happening. It's it's been a little bit of a challenge for sure, but it's so much fun. My son, his name is Rhett, he just turned 15 months. Sorry, I'm on a really bumpy road, so give me a second here. But yeah, he's 15 months, and he is just amazing, man. We just got him done with swim lessons, and he's doing really well in swim. Where are you going? I'm from Colorado. Fisherman myself. Am I the only one on the chat? Yeah, it seems like it. I don't know yet. I just got done saying I'm going somewhere in the metro area. I live between Chatfield, Cherry Creek, and a couple of smaller reservoirs that sit inside neighborhoods, and just every night I decide I go fishing. I just kind of wing it. So waiting to hear from a buddy, and then I'll decide. Chatfield's usually my go-to. Cherry Creek's my second. Too damn cold to fish. It is cold, but not too cold to fish. I got a heated jacket, 2 pairs of pants on, whole bunch of stuff. So I'm ready for it. Bring it on, especially if they're big fish, right? I'm lifting, or I'd hop on the Jimmy. Yeah, I feel that. Get your pump in. Northern Colorado, awesome. Yeah, Boyd can be great. I also know a few people that fish Horsetooth and also Horseshoe, which is more of a private lake, but all of that can be really good right now for walleye. Definitely. Blah, chatty. Yeah. It's not always the best, but it is what it is. Yeah, definitely skunks live there. Yeah, I'll be hitting the walleye weights tonight, hopefully. We'll see. There's a good mix of pre and post spawn fish. I was there the other day in the morning, and I was casting up in the shallow, and I ended up caught 6, a couple walleyes, a couple rainbow trout, 2 smallmouth, and then another one got kind of wrapped around the stick as we were reeling it in, so I didn't get to see what it was. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Usually I'm casting big long stick baits, Smithwick Rogues, Casting Rapalas, casting, man, what's my other go-tos? Any sort of Rapala scatter minnow, scatter wrap, balsa, shadow wrap. The shadow wraps are really good on the dam. So any of that stuff I usually am throwing, just try to see if I can pick off some fish. This early in the year, sometimes you'll catch them in a couple feet of water, 2-3 feet of water. It's kind of crazy. I brought my waders tonight, but sometimes you'll catch them so shallow that you don't even need waders. You just cast from shore, cast in parallel to the shore and catching them in 2-3 feet of water. It's kind of cool. The highway's empty. Thought it'd be packed. Not gonna have much of a sunset tonight though. Definitely a little rainy, a lot of windy right now. Definitely gonna have some wind tonight. Got the chapstick for my rod guides so they don't freeze up on me. Mint Burt's Bees. Stuff is invaluable to keeping your guides from freezing, especially when it's this cold. Keep driving along here. Don't really have a ton to say, just wanted to check in, answer any spring walleye questions, chat. I got a cool new mount in my truck, so it makes it nice and easy for this. Slow jigging, see that here? Yep, slow jigging is good. I use a lot of tickle tail by Kalen's. Tom Boley's big on those. He's another YouTube guy. Tickle tails are great. Waterton, yeah, Waterton can be good. Any of that right now can actually be good. Waterton, I haven't fished really that high, but I definitely have fished between like the spillway of Chatfield and the brewery. Is that Breckenridge? I'm trying to remember what brewery that is. Great Divide, maybe? I don't know. Whichever one. But yeah, either way, between there can be really good for walleye. Just casting baits. When we had that big flood, it pushed a whole bunch of them into the river system, and a lot of them survived. But you can't be in that South Platte Ponds Park after dusk. I think you can be in other places, but not there. Colors to throw. I would say my go-to, so there's actually a color that I never left home without, and they don't make it anymore. But imitating that color I think is great. So it was a purple back, and it was an orange belly, and the middle was silver. So it's kind of like a shad. The purple is a little darker, so I guess you could consider it a shad bait, but the bottom was bright orange, and that was fire for me for years. Used to use it all the time. It was a Rick Clunn XC wrap, I believe, and it was a phenomenal bait. So that's one that I would look into, is kind of purple orange, especially for around here. But standard baits that produce clown colors, perch colors, fire tiger colors, anything bright, anything that looks like a shad. But right now, generally speaking, you can catch fish on bigger baits because they're just eating right now, looking up, trying to either feed themselves pre-spawn or pack on the weights after spawn. Ever come to Wyoming? I do come to Wyoming. I went to Wyoming for my bachelor party. I was there. We went to Pathfinder. That's predominantly where we fished. And then we also went to Alcova. Alcova's cool. It's got a nice little canyon area. And then this year, I planned on ice fishing Glendo, but I didn't make it up. We had some things come up and I never made it to Glendo. But that's a great fishery. I love Wyoming. Great spot. And you're right, chartreuse is definitely a good color. Chartreuse is a bait that I will always use in the summer. Almost all of my bottom bouncers are chartreuse. I have a couple that are just the standard metal, and then I have a couple hit sticks that are chartreuse and orange. But great color for summer. Definitely can be productive now too. That fire tiger color works really well. But generally speaking, that is a summer pattern that I will not change, is using chartreuse on pretty much everything. Oh, you're more towards Cheyenne or something? Is that where you're at? Cheyenne, Laramie, probably somewhere in there. Yeah, I love chartreuse too. It's great. It's a great bait. Anything in that color is awesome. Right now you want slow stuff, really slow. I think some people think it's absurdly slow, but if you get out and you're casting baits from shore and you're not getting hit, try reeling it in slow and just stop and count 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You're either going to get hit while it's sitting there or you're going to get hit when you start to crank it again. And that is one of the most deadly ways to produce fish in the springtime. Last time we were out on a morning, sorry, I got to get over here. Last time we were out in the morning, we had a whole bunch of new anglers, and I just kind of told them that same thing, like, hey, get out there, cast, pause, count, don't touch your reel, just let it sit. You know, you can work up some of that slack from the bait sitting, but don't reel it, you know. And they almost all of them got hit on the pause, so it was very good to us the last couple times here. Wheatland, okay, yeah, I know where that is. Fire tiger is good, and I like rooster tails and tiger patterns. Yes, for sure. I love the X-Wrap, the Rapala X-Wrap. They can be a little pricey depending on, you know, when, but X-Wraps are great. They all come with the rooster tail. Another trick, VMC makes rooster tails, so you can turn any bait into a rooster tail if you wanted to. I also am a big fan of scents. I know not a lot of people buy into it, but I had been buying for a long time Gulp Garlic Aioli, I believe is what it was. And that stuff I would spray on my lure. It's like a spray bottle. I'd spray on my lure every 3-4 casts. Not a lot, just enough to give it some scent. And I swear I caught more fish. I mean, I don't necessarily do it consistently now, mostly because you can't find the stuff. It was a Gulp flavor. I found it once recently, but other than that, I haven't seen it. But Gulp Garlic, that's worked well for me too. I'm a big fan of scents, and the rooster tails will help hold that scent in. So that's always something to think about. I'm throwing crappie jigs and tube jigs. Yeah, I have not done a ton with crappie jigs for walleye, although for lake trout, they are phenomenal. Ice fishing lake trout, crappie tubes are the best, in my opinion, especially for lake trout that are finicky, that won't bite, especially if you're looking for like eater size. The big ones won't touch it, but the 18 to 25 range will absolutely eat those, you know, 2-3 inch crappie tubes in any color. Green's been good for that. What's your favorite fish to chase here? Oh, dude, it's a hands up tie between lake trout and walleye. I would say both are pretty equal. Walleye I love because I can catch them 30 minutes from my house. But if you said, you know, you have one last fish to catch, which I think is like the ultimate question, it's going to be a lake trout, hands down. It'll be, you know, jigging for a big giant lake trout. I'd rather probably spend, if I couldn't fish a day after, I would rather spend 8 hours on a boat trying to catch one giant lake trout than catching 100 stalker walleye or, you know, standard size walleye. Andrew Tate, any tips fishing Trinidad Lake for walleye? You know, I've never fished Trinidad. I have gone down that far south before for other things. Pueblo's about as far as I've gone for southern walleye fishing. I would assume that Trinidad is warm now, or warmer than up here, but I could be wrong about that, so correct me if I'm wrong. But the pattern is the same pretty much anywhere. You have pre and post spawn walleyes happening right pretty much as ice off is happening or just after ice off is happening. Then they move into the post spawn state, and then the fishing will really get good usually when the water temperature hits that 55 to 65 degrees is when things start to pick up. So right now everything in the metro area is around 40s. So that 55 to 65 things pick up, and then 65 on, it's lights out. And then as the summer gets super, super warm, it slows down a little bit, but depends on when you're going. If you're going now, I would go early, I would go late in the day. I would cast lures from shore if you can get on a boat there, if it's open, but if you can get on a boat there, then you can, cast lures, from the boat. But the shore is very productive. A lot of times the fish are up close enough you don't even need a boat. But that's what I would do right now. Jigs that are especially soft, jigs that are not super aggressive. So you want light jig heads, 16th ounce, 8th ounce, quarter ounce would probably be the max, but light jigs, paddle tails, tickle tails, things with really soft and limber baits, things that move in the water pretty good and don't create a ton of thump, but still make some good motion. That's all great for walleye fishing. So I would look into that at Trinidad and see what you can do. But by far your best time period between now, 7 o'clock, to like probably 9:30. That's going to be your best chance catching walleyes in the spring. From shore anyway. Chase walleye and huge crappie, 15 to 18 inch. Wow, that would be a giant crappie. Holy. I think the biggest crappie I caught was at a private pond in Nebraska. We were going to see Nebraska play CU in Lincoln. And we have some friends that live on this private pond. And that is probably the biggest crappie I ever caught. I think it was 16 inches or so, if I had to guess. We didn't measure it, but it was big. Had to learn new tricks for up here, that's for sure. But the night fishing is still the same. Yeah, for sure. I think the hard part for people to understand about bodies of water, and this is what I've got some ideas in the back of my mind on how to make this easier for folks, but stay tuned for that. I think you'll be seeing some news around that around May on my channel. But the hard part is you could take a guy from Michigan and you could ask him, how do you catch walleyes? And then you could take a guy from Arizona and ask him how to catch walleyes, and they're going to be two completely different things. But when most people recognize that, they don't recognize that if I'm fishing at Chatfield, which is 30 minutes driving to Cherry Creek, there's completely different springtime patterns for catching fish. Not always at night. At night, things are pretty consistent. Those big jerk baits, those big stick baits, along riprap, along muddy bottom, all of that stuff. But when you're talking about both lakes, they fish differently. So I think people don't realize small geographic location distances can make big changes, especially on how the reservoir is fed, how much water is in it, the oxygen level, all of that stuff is affecting the fish. And also, the surface level, how much water is there and how shallow is it. Spinney is a great example of that. Spinney and 11 Mile are right next to each other. They both fish different. And that's because Spinney is so much shallower. There's a lot different forage there. So you got to kind of think about all that stuff. But yeah, lots of tricks for different places. Okay. Put it to you this way. If I was chasing walleyes from a kayak, which I did for a number of years, I would probably be jigging. And the reason being is because it's very hard to stay consistent on a kayak. We have spot locks on boats. We have all of these tools that help us stay on a spot. In a kayak, you're at the mercy of the wind. So I would say, if you are gonna fish from a kayak, try to find some structure on social maps before you go. If you have a Lowrance or something on your kayak, check that as you're paddling around and look for some good structure. And then I would paddle upwind and cast out jigs with paddle tails, or cast out maybe some rip and wraps, some lipless crankbaits. That's what I would be using on some of those spots where you're gonna drift. And then you can slowly drift over that spot and then paddle back upwind. Another super deadly technique from a kayak and anyone in the springtime is gonna be like a slip bobber and a minnow. Slip bobber and a leech, once leeches are a little bit more available. All of those can be really good. You paddle upwind, drop out your slip bobber, get the minnow like 6 to 10 inches off bottom, and then just let your kayak drift over the structure. And as you do that, you're just watching that bobber. You're not really too concerned about feeling the bite or setting a hook super hard, because they'll probably have it in their mouth by the time the bobber goes down. So I would look at slip bobbering, lipless cranks, and jigs, and just kind of paddle upwind and let it blow you back across the structure. Boyd and Loveland Lake. Okay, yeah, I've actually I've done some at Bodecker, I think Lone Tree Reservoir, and there was one other up there that's an SWA, but I've been to all those. Boyd Night crawlers and Lake Loveland leeches and a floating jig head. I just threw away like 5 floating jig heads. I had a whole bunch of them and I just tossed them. I was like, I've never used these. I don't think I'll use them. Lo and behold, I think I would. I have some very short bottom bouncers, or like on a Lindy rig, let's say. And then if you tied just like, I don't know, a 6 to 8 inch lead and tied one of those floating jig heads on in the summer for walleyes, I think that would keep it just up enough so you wouldn't catch all that moss and weed and stuff like that. So that could be deadly. If you go on my channel, there is a video at Pueblo where I do underwater live video with my Aquaview, and it is really cool to see the fish interact, but you can see all the vegetation that's there. So any floating jig that'll get your stuff off bottom, that is killer. No problem, man. Happy to help any way I can. I always claim that I'm not the best walleye fisherman, but I've been trying enough things over the years that I think I've got a pretty good idea of how the walleyes bite, when they bite. And you know, the other thing that's cool about this YouTube channel, and something that I think is really neat for you guys, originally, you know, I just wanted it to be like all the videos of me catching stuff so I could remember how. I have a really bad short-term memory, so it'll be wintertime and then I'll be like, dang, how fast do I troll when I do this, or how deep was I when I did this, or what color was I using? So that's kind of why this channel is here, is hopefully help you guys and help me remember how all this stuff is done. So take a look at some of my videos. I probably have done 4 springs now from the boat, so you can definitely catch an idea of how we're getting these fish. Walleyes in the summer are always jigging wraps and blade baits around here. That's what I've had the most success on. If you learn how to work them, learn different, you know, hops and jerks and things like that, you can be very successful with those. So give those a go too. I use a lot of 2-foot leaders and a bullet weight. I like bullet weights. I have some, but I don't use them as much anymore. Nate Zielinski and I have been talking, and he mentioned to me that cannonball weights are great. So I've kind of switched my stuff to cannonball weights, but bullet weights have their time and place. The other thing that I have tried and been semi-successful with is Ned rigging for walleyes. If you haven't seen a Ned rig, go look it up. But I've Ned rigged walleyes before, and it works awesome. Especially, you know, some of those lakes that are further out on the plains. So, you know, the hot lakes, could be Sterling, could be Jumbo, could be down south of Pueblo. But all of those lakes, not only do you have a chance at catching a smallmouth or a largemouth on a Ned rig, but if you get on a group of crappie or walleye, the Ned rigs can be awesome. So I would look into Ned rigging too. Oh, my chat disappeared here. Give me a second. There we go. I told some buddies about your live, man. Gotta go. Get some music going. Thanks, man. No worries. Appreciate you jumping in here and asking great questions, and take care of yourself, man. Enjoy. Appreciate it. What's going on? Fishing with Basquatch. That's a cool one. I got some Sasquatch socks for Christmas this year. I thought those were pretty cool. That was one of our company's like little things, was a Secret Santa. I got Sasquatch socks. Pretty legit ones, actually. So yeah, we're getting ready to go fishing here. Just wanted to answer some spring fishing questions, come back live, let people know I'm still here and around. Life has been a little crazy for all of you that missed in the beginning. I just have a 15-month-old son. It's been an awesome experience. I love being a dad. I cannot wait for this little guy to come fishing with me, but obviously he's not quite there yet. So been a lot of swim lessons, a lot of late night feedings, and man, you name it. We've just been kind of doing a lot of that. So definitely posting videos and trying to get more involved, and I appreciate everybody that, you know, is involved in the channel and coming and commenting and liking and not taking it out on me when I don't post regularly. That being said, I'm trying to be more consistent. I'm going to film a video tonight of catching walleyes from shore. I'm got a video coming out tomorrow. So anybody that's here, I have a video coming out tomorrow. It is a ice fishing video for kokanee salmon, and it is badass. We did a underwater camera. So you can see a lot of the takes. We caught a limit of 20 fish. It was an incredible day, and all but maybe 5 fish were caught on the underwater camera. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. That comes out tomorrow, I think 6:30, might be 6. It's premiering on my channel, so you can go set a reminder for it. All right. Yeah, hit me up if you get this way. I will, for sure. If you want to, I have 2 emails. You can use my last email address, which is cofishbro@gmail.com. And this goes for anybody in here. But yeah, if you want to fish, you want to link up, or you have questions, cofishbro@gmail.com is one that I am using currently. Eventually, I'm going to transition over to my new email, which is catchingcolorado@gmail.com. And I have both of them, so feel free to email either one. But the old channel name again was cofishbro, so you guys can hit me up there. You'll see it in a lot of my titles and my old videos and stuff. So congrats, man. I have a 5-year-old fishing buddy, outfishes his old man sometime. I feel that. I feel that, man. I know plenty of guys that I fished with for years, and they're plagued by the fact that their children are better at it than them. But kudos, man, passing on the pastime, and hopefully, you know, they love it and enjoy it in their life as much as you do. That's awesome. Really cool. Advice for some ice-off spake fishing. You mean splake, I'm sure. Man, I don't really know. I don't know. I've caught a few. The places that I would go, I don't even know if they have ice. I know Gross Reservoir, I think, has some. I've caught some there before, I believe. I could be wrong on the species, but I'm pretty sure Gross Reservoir does. The only thing about Gross and ice is it fluctuates too much. So you could go out on Gross and you could pop a hole and you could have water 15 feet below the ice. It is real sketchy. And then if you ever fell in with currents and things like that, I don't think you'd ever get back out. And obviously you can't jump 15 feet out of water. So anyway, yeah, that's the place that I'm kind of thinking of, but I've caught them more in the summer from a kayak. So I don't know. I know Lakers for sure. You can still go catch Lakers, and the same things apply, right? Drill a hole, try a bunch of different jigs, but like I was saying earlier, the smaller jigs can actually work well. Crappie tubes, tiny little trout teasers, things like that. Last I went, we caught the most fish on a lime green, maybe it wasn't lime green, it was a clear green trout teaser. So gotta give that a go for sure. Enjoy the family and enjoy the day. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. We're definitely enjoying the little one growing up here. My wife actually has another, so it's been kind of crazy for us. So we're about to be a big family here. I feel like I'm a little nervous about all that, but it'll be good. I'm excited. All right, so let's sit here. Don't blink before you know them moving out. Yep, I know, man. So I was 17 and my sister had her first, and his name is Ryan. You guys have probably seen him on the channel a couple times. He is 16, going on 17 this year. And man, I remember holding him and, you know, going through college and having just a 3-4-year-old that loved just hockey and hanging out and all that stuff, man. It sucks how fast it goes. Life just happens. I recently saw somebody saying that, like, kids are only young for 4 years, so take advantage of it. And I believe that. My son's already almost 1.5 years. It's going by quick. Chambers res for splake. Okay, right on. That's cool. I didn't know that. Another thing, just heads up for the channel. My wife and I are headed on a trip to Maui. So when we go to Maui, I'm gonna try to shoot one video using the TFO Traveler rod. It's a rod that is a 7-foot, and it fishes very similar to a single piece rod. They've made it into a 3-piece so that it breaks down and you can slide it into overhead storage on the airplane. So we are working on getting a Traveler rod so that I can share that with you guys. If you watched any of my old Maui videos, which they're on the channel, I met up with a guy named Jay. Jay lives on Maui. He's a native there, and he was generous enough to show me around some spots on the island and help me catch some fish. I met another guy out there. I'm trying to remember his name. He was so nice. He was a younger kid, maybe 14, 15. Pacana, sounds right? Pacana, something like that. Anyway, he showed me how to catch an akuli while we were out there, and that's something we actually ate in the hotel. So we'll have one video of me fishing in Maui, but for the most part, I'm gonna try to enjoy it with my family and my son and stuff, and just kind of see what it brings. So anyway, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in, even for 30 minutes here. I'm gonna figure out my plan for the night and where I'm gonna fish and all that good stuff. But busting the camera out, you got another episode coming in here soon of catching walleyes at night. Hopefully we can make it happen tonight, and I will keep y'all posted on what's happening. But thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a blessed evening and an awesome weekend if you guys are getting out fishing. And if you're local here, Chatfield and Cherry Creek will open to boating on Friday. So just a little heads up there. Thanks so much, guys. We'll catch you later.